This program is brought to you by
Jazz Bank, Nigeria's first full-fledged non-interest bank.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of your all-new program, The Ummah Tonight, where we are addressing, investigating issues, pressing issues rather, that are facing the Muslim world today from all around the globe. Of course, like I've said time and time before, we're not only focused primarily on the Arabic-speaking Middle East, rather we are investigating issues pertaining to this Muslim Ummah from all around the globe, including Africa, the Far East, even the Americas. Today, like all other episodes, we have some special pieces of community news for you guys, as well as a very special guest in the second segment, but I'm not going to tell you too much more than that because you guys got to stay tuned. We also have a very, very popular Muslim public speaker and debate public speaker from the UK. So inshallah he will be with us live via Skype, so you don't want to miss that. Without any more further ado, let me welcome my co-host, my co-pilot as well, Brother Ahmed Fawzi. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother, I see you have about 4 or 5 interesting pieces of stuff for us today. Let us know.
Yes, mashallah. We're having today a year conducted a workshop explaining more about evolution.
Okay.
We're going, inshallah, to speak about this. And also Turkey offers Greece to fund the Athens mosque.
Mashallah.
We're having here a news saying Egypt is the last or the worst option for Syrian refugees. We're going to know more about this and why.
Okay.
And Arabic is playing an important role to explain and let us more about why is Islam it's important to know Arabic, to know more about the right Islam. Last news, we're having Texas Muslim meet with their legislators and lawmakers.
Okay, great. MashaAllah. Yeah. Let's get to the first piece, brother. Go ahead. What was the first piece?
So the first piece, inshallah, we're having that Ayera, the research team of Ayera will be actually conducted a workshop entitled The Internal Challenge. That was on Saturday, the 2nd February 2013 at University College London, UCL, which will answer questions such as is science the only way to truth? Answer the question about what is a miracle, who do we understand science and revelation, what is the intellectual challenge of the Quran, how do we explain the literally miracle of Quran, and more questions about this.
And brother, just really quickly, so the readers know as they see on their screen this article that's online, IERA is an acronym for Islamic Education and Research Center, yep, which is a think tank that's based in the UK, which I believe is headed by Sheikh Abdurrahim Green.
Yep.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Ayura is playing a very important role in Europe now, especially in UK, in researches, in explaining about Islam, in making dawah in the streets.
Right.
We nowadays just everyone or anyone just to go ahead and type Ayera, I-E-R-A, you will find more so much activities about what they do in the West or in Europe in specific.
Yeah, of course, brother. They have a wonderful program. I learned about these guys. When someone accepts Islam, they have a whole training package in a retreat group to teach them about where to go from there. So I thought that was really nice as well.
Yes, mashallah. And also they, you know, they sponsor many teaching lectures and committees to teach people how to do
dawah,
the right dawah.
Yeah, I like that.
Because dawah, as you said, it's not teaching people how to do dawah, but I'm concerning about the word before dawah, the right dawah.
Right.
Because dawah, as we know from the Quran, it's by what ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة. It's either you just tell me more about Islam, or you tell me in wisdom and good instructions. And this is what is good in Islam, is to preach about Islam rightly and correctly with wisdom and good instructions.
MashaAllah. And I believe here the title of the discussion here was, has evolution been misunderstood? And I really hope that we can get the brothers on the line from Ira, live from the UK.
I wish.
Because really, evolution is, I always tell people when I was living back in the States, it was a theory that hasn't been proven. Although, you know, when I was growing up in the States, they taught us it as if it was a fact. And they told us, if your religion isn't compliant with our evolution belief, not theory, with our evolution, then your religion is at fault. If you want to have a faith-based system, that's okay. But evolution is the truth, and so you should follow that. Then, as I grew up into to be a young adult, I realized that's not quite the case at all. Charles Darwin did not prove this theory. It remained a theory from when he died until now. So I'm surprised the brothers at IRA are still even addressing this issue, because from what I understood, evolution was a dead theory. But we will get them on the phone, inshallah, and we'll discuss more with them, inshallah.
Yeah, why actually evolution is, to speak about evolution is a good gate to know more about Islam.
Yeah, right.
When you ask many questions about like what they have in the workshop, you will ask more about this, you will know more about the right Islam. And we have many names, many good names, like Hamza Tuzarts and and many of those guys actually from Ayera. I hope we have one of them, inshallah, on the show soon to speak about this.
And we've been inviting those brothers, so hopefully we can get them down here. And I had the pleasure to meet them in Dubai at the 2012 International Peace Convention, which was nice. So we certainly hope they come here to visit us here at Huda TV, inshallah, soon. And that's Ayera. I guess we'll keep waiting for them, inshallah. And perhaps if you want to, we do have a phone call, I believe, from one of the brothers at IRA named Nuruddin, live from the UK. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Nuruddin.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much, brother, for calling. I certainly appreciate your time. Brother, how is everything in Holland? I believe you're in Holland. I apologize.
Yes, I'm in Holland, just across the lake from the UK.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, you know, today I can only thank Allah for the way that it is going right now, because in fact I'm calling you at a very special moment in time. I am sitting in my car and I'm parked next to a building which we got the key of it today, and this will be our new center for improving dawah in the Netherlands.
Oh, amazing. May Allah bless you.
Just got the building today, and listening to what you guys are talking about, like talking...
عفوا رصيد.
I paused the phone call off. And that was a wonderful call, because actually, brother, if you remember yesterday, we talked about the Islamic Center in Denmark, which isn't far from him. So I hope we can get the brother back on the line, but he said they had just opened up, they got the keys to an Islamic Center in Holland, so we want to ask Allah to bless that and let it grow and
they
prosper.
have more activities.
Yeah,
and
inshallah.
He spoke about it before, actually, and they would like to make good da'wah in Denmark and in Holland, and
yes, inshallah.
I hope, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yani support them with everything to do what they're supposed to do, inshallah.
Inshallah. And we have another phone call, Brother Fahid from Norway. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? Thank you so much for your phone call, Brother Fahid. Are you there?
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, brother. Please go ahead, brother. Speak up. Go ahead. I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, Brother Fahid, thank you so much for your call. Norway, brother, we're talking about evolution being previously a popular choice for people to turn away from religion and to embrace a sort of atheism in evolution. Do you see that in Norway, or is the tide changing towards religion? Because I believe Norway was a traditionally atheistic sort of country.
You're actually absolutely right, SubhanAllah. If you look at Norway's history, the recent years, you can clearly see that Christianity has become very, very weak in our country, and atheism has spread a lot. More and more people are turning, actually not only atheism, but people are turning agnostics. They don't deny God, but they don't say that Allah exists. So they are actually very flexible people and very open-minded and ready to, if we just give them da'wah, many of them will inshallah accept Islam.
But brother, would you agree that secularism and atheism has sort of, and republicanism has sort of replaced Christianity in Europe as the new religion?
I would, yes, I do agree with you. Christianity, not only in Norway, but most of European countries, and especially Scandinavia, have become very, very weak the last year. Even Christianity used to be the formal religion of Norway just a few years back, but to remove that from the country very lately. So Christianity is becoming weaker and weaker. Even at our schools here in Norway, like a few months back, they banned prayer rooms. Even the Christians, they reacted. They said, this is not right. You cannot ban prayer rooms. People need to pray. But because atheism has become so strong, they banned prayer rooms.
Oh, excellent point, Brother Fahad. What about the evolution, the theory of evolution in Norway? Is it accepted and taught in public schools there as fact, as it is in the United States, or is it not taught at all?
It is very much accepted here. Even in like from children's schools and upwards, they teach your Muslim children that evolution is a fact. Even though they have so many proofs that it is not, but they teach you as it is a fact. So it's a big problem, big fitna.
SubhanAllah, that's very interesting, Brother Fahad. If you can just stay with me on the line, Brother Fahad, we do have Noordin back on with us from the Netherlands. Brother, I really apologize, the line cut when you were sharing with us some tremendous and great news. When you said you received today the keys to a new Islamic center, I believe this is something to be truly, really thankful for. If you could please continue what you were saying, brother.
Yes, I was just saying, and actually, when I called you, I was still in the car. I'm now inside the building for the first time ever, and I'm so happy. We
Allahu
just
Akbar.
opened. Yes, Allahu Akbar. We're very happy. We just got the keys today, and so it's a new center. And you know, listening to what you guys are talking about, like how our people and how are even our own kids being taught ideas that may conflict with our belief system. Then we're very happy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us with this new building, and you know, we hope to make it work also to benefit our community and those among us who are not yet Muslims.
Oh, of course.
Because from our perception, we only have two types of people. You have Muslims and people that are not yet Muslim.
Inshallah.
We hope that we can serve them both.
Brother, excellent point. Brother, there in Holland, is the concept in the quote-unquote theory of evolution, is it taught in public schools as a fact, and that you're forced to accept this fact regardless of what faith background you come from, and they teach you like they do in the United States? If your religion is not compliant with our evolution, then your religion is false. Is that what they teach in Holland?
Yeah, in fact, I have some other news there as well. First of all, in general or in public schools, this is taught. However, there should be a distinction between evolution theory and Darwinism.
Okay.
So usually what is taught is evolution theory, but not Darwinism. Mm-hmm. But what we have in the schools here is that you have the chance, if you have, for instance, a religious group, they have the opportunity to have a school system based on their own belief system.
Okay.
And then you're able to tweak the type of information that you you teach.
Sure.
And there's some great news. Actually, this is news from today. That today the Dutch government released a list of 31 schools, which they say they were excellent schools. So this is 31 schools from the entire country.
Okay.
And it turned out that 2 of those 31 schools were Islamic schools.
MashaAllah. That's great news.
Yeah, so we're very happy because we have a very small Islamic community.
But growing,
however,
inshallah.
two of the schools that were Islamic schools were actually recognized as being excellent schools by the Dutch government.
That is amazing. And Brother Noordin, we would love to see a report or some video of your new Islamic center there in Holland and send it to us, and we could play it right here on the Ummah tonight. And I want to thank you, not just for your phone call, but for including me and Brother Ahmed Fauzi, my co-host here, for calling us why you entered into the Islamic Center, and because we want to wish you congratulations, and we ask Allah to bless you for you, inshallah.
Thank you very much. I mean, you know, we hope that we will do it good, and I will try to get you up with the report as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. I certainly appreciate it. And Alaikum salam barakatuh, brother. Thank you so much. Alaikum salam barakatuh. We also still have Brother Fahad on the line with us from Norway. Brother, are you still there? Thank you for holding.
Yes,
brother. Excellent, Brother Fahid. Norway, Muslim. It seems Muslims in Norway, a small number but growing. Is Norway a country that is open for dawah? Do you see Islam growing there? Do you see an environment that's friendly for Muslims to preach there and invite Norwegians to Islam?
I think the society of Norway Islam is very new to people here. So you will find many of the people here, the general public, that were open to listen to Islam. Even Hamza was actually here in 2011, and his personal experience was, Hamza Zotzis from Ayera, his personal experience, his experience was that the people of Norway are very, very much open, more open than the people in UK. They're very receptive, they want Islam. And many times we have experienced that people are just stopping by at our dawah stalls, just searching for the truth. SubhanAllah, you know the atrocities that happened the 22nd of June?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that, because that was a massive tragedy. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, a few weeks after that, we had a dawah stall, and one brother, he came, non-Muslim. He said that he was on that island when that guy Anders Behring Breivik was killing and massacring those children.
Right.
He was an atheist. He said he was hiding inside a closet with a Muslim girl, and she started praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and because he felt that death was so near him, so by his fitrah he started to call out to Allah. He said Allahu Akbar, and he was an atheist.
Subhanallah.
So that experience of seeing death so close to his eyes, it really changed him. So he was, a few weeks afterwards, he was just walking by our door stalls. He passed by, but he came back. He stopped. I could see there was something with him. He started looking at the books. So I asked him, do you believe in Allah? Do you believe there's a creator of the heavens and earth? Do you want to talk about this? And he was very receptive. He said, yes, let's talk. So we sat down and I explained to him the concept of Islam, and he accepted.
That's amazing. SubhanAllah.
So he was really searching. He wanted Islam. He was hungry for Islam. So if we are not out there in the streets giving them the opportunity to accept Islam, we are missing, subhanAllah, so many people who are open and receptive to Islam, but we are just lacking in our work. So
that's an amazing. I'm sorry, brother Fahid, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was just an amazing piece that one of the survivors of that terrible shooting rampage accepted Islam at your stall. That's an amazing story.
And he just remind us of what happened with Prophet Ibrahim, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him and told him, you invite and I turn people to Islam. SubhanAllah, yani they didn't do that effort of da'wah. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Thank you for this, for telling us about this story. And
Brother Fahid, we certainly appreciate your phone call, brother. I look forward to having you on another episode, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Wow, Jazakum. Thank you, Brother Fahid from Norway, with a really a truly amazing story. But let's wrap up this evolutions talk and let's get into the next news.
Another news. It's Turkey offers Greece to fund the Athens Mosque. As we know about Greece, they have more than 300,000 Muslims, and it's one of the rare countries where you can't find mosques.
I believe it's the only European capital without a mosque.
Yeah, without a mosque, actually. Turkey, the Turkish Prime Minister has said he had offered his Greek counterpart to cover costs of a mosque to be built in Athens.
Yes.
As it's mentioned, I told him that Turkey could cover the cost of the mosque in Athens and necessary permissions are granted. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the government of Turkey, now they play a big role and an important role of supporting Muslims everywhere, as we see refugees from Syria, from Gaza. They always share in many activities. I believe now Turkey is returning back to play the same role that they played in the Ottoman Empire. Subhanallah. Speaking about the mosque in such a country like that, we have to be sure that mosque is one of the important associations or organizations to Muslims to be good Muslims. في بيوت أذن الله أن يرفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والأصال. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran that there is an important rule for these houses, for these mosques, where you can hear the adhan and people Muslims they go and pray. Praying in mosque is one way to wake them up with good instructions. For those guys in Athens or in Greece in general, you need mosques to have good Muslims.
Yes, subhanAllah.
Yes.
And I think if I could just comment, because this story is interesting for me because my father's from Greece.
Yep.
From what I understood, there's many Muslims in that country. They have no official place to pray. They pray in basements and here and there. In the north, and when they die, they can't even bury their dead because they don't have a cemetery for them.
Cemetery for Muslims.
So sometimes they travel to the north where there's a small ethnic minority there, and they bury them there. So they've been saying for years they will build a mosque in Greece. Now they dedicated a place near the port city called Piraeus, and this area is called Votikanos or something like that, okay?
Yep.
They had an old Navy base. They had promised for many years, since the 90s, to build a mosque for the people there, and they haven't done so. And now they say because they have economic crisis they can't afford it. Now you see the Turkish government offering them. But so subhanAllah, the Greeks, they want to enter Europe and be Europeans and pretend to be civilized, but they didn't allow basic freedom for their citizens. Even the old mosques in the Ottoman times, many of them are closed down, not repaired, and not even considered historical sites. They've been asking to reopen one of the old Ottoman mosques there for a long time, and they haven't done that.
And they haven't. Yep.
I hope to have next week, we hope to have Dr. Steph Carey's on Viewers Pulse next Sunday, inshallah. Perhaps you can adjust this with us. Now the brothers are telling me we do have a video for you guys. Perhaps you guys can check it out, inshallah, and stay tuned to the Ummah tonight.
Inshallah.
Greece has suffered 5 centuries of Islamic tyranny by Turkey. Building a mosque would offend the martyrs who freed us. Greece does not hate anyone, but most of the Muslims have come here illegally to Islamize Europe. We totally oppose this.
So this is funny because we see a Christian, first of all, Brother Akram, if you can just give me a minute, because this really irritates me, this topic. We have a Greek Orthodox priest with a beard this big saying, we don't want to offend the martyrs of the Greek Revolution. And first of all, is the Greek Orthodox priest now the spokesman for the Greek government? Because the last time I checked, the Republic of Greece, the Hellenic Republic, was a democratic and had a separation of church and state and not run by the Greek Orthodox Church, number one. Number two, he described Turkish rule as 500 years of tyranny. From what I understand, the Greek Orthodox Church was actually, Brother Ahmed, was against the Greek Revolution because they had a nice situation with the Ottoman Caliphate. So I think this is very funny, very hypocritical, and he also says most Muslims come here illegally. Does Greece want to be a democratically elected government and enter Europe and be civilized, or do they want to be a regressive old country run by the church? I'll never know this constant contradiction. So we can't build one mosque in Athens because the Greek Orthodox priest doesn't want to? SubhanAllah, I don't understand the contradiction here.
Yep. SubhanAllah, when in general, everywhere, when you find someone just would like to, or he had some hatred for another ethnicity or another religious person from another background or whatever the religion he came from, you find that he's going back to his history. He's going back to I'm not saying history, but false history.
Right. National myths, propaganda.
Maybe something like that, of course, and so on. What we see that we're having a reality now. We're having Muslims in this area, and they have rights as any minority in the country, and they have to have their own worship places.
Right. I don't want Greeks now to pretend that they have a country based on democratic principles if they do not allow a mosque to be built. I don't want to hear Greeks talk about freedom of speech and freedom of religion if they don't want a mosque to be built. I don't want to hear Greeks say we are the cradle of democracy if they don't allow a mosque to be built. This is a massive hypocrisy. Do you guys want to be Europeans, or do you want to be a small, regressive, backward state where you don't allow any kind of freedom of religion? Because we do see more religious freedom in most Muslim countries. So, subhanAllah, I think this is very strange. I ask the Greek people to open their minds and to allow their fellow citizens, subhanAllah, because as we know, there are Greek citizen passport holders and Greeks who are Muslim who would like simply a place to bury their dead. Because they don't. We're talking about the mosque, but there's no cemetery, brother. There's no cemetery. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, one of the least rights for them to have something like that, to have their worship place, to have their own, way of life.
Yes, subhanAllah.
As a Muslim, when you came here, for example, to practice your traditions, your habits as a Muslim, you found it's free for you. But when you go back to your country, you will ask yourself, am I going to have the same way of practicing my Islam?
Yes, subhanAllah.
And this is one of the least rights for everybody, for everyone, to practice his own religion, to practice his own habits, as far as it's not against the country laws.
When it comes
but we will go back to the same questions you ask. This is in this part of democracy you have, in this part of whatever you believe in. Just ask yourself about this and let us know.
Yeah, I mean, who's speaking now when it comes to Muslims in Greece? The Prime Minister and the government of Greece, or the Greek Orthodox priests? Having said that, alhamdulillah, I think we made our point about that. We asked Allah to grant them their Islamic center there and facilitate their life there in an easy way, inshallah. Next piece of news, I hear we have Brother Hatem Abu Hafsa on the line.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Hatem, how are you?
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brother. How are you, Brother Malik? How are you, Brother Ahmed?
Hey, we're doing great. We're doing great. We're doing even better, alhamdulillah. Now that we have you on the line, brother, we know you as the Arabic, our viewers know you as the Arabic professor at Huda Online Academy. Okay, so we want to speak about the importance of the Arabic language and how important it is for Muslims to learn Arabic and for new Muslims to make an effort to learn Arabic. Why is Arabic the key to the Islamic sciences?
Yes, indeed, subhanAllah. All praise is due to Allah, and His praise and blessings be with His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well, first of all, akhi, it's enough that Arabic language is the language of the Holy Quran. So that's an honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us, choosing the Arabic language for us to use, knowing that this is the language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for the Quran, His word, and also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the people of Jannah. So we have a duty here, akhi. We have a gap here that we need to fill, that we need to enhance all the efforts of the Ummah to work hard to spread the Arabic language in between Muslims, first of all, and also in between non-Muslims, because you've started your question asking about Muslims. This is the main part, because they're already Muslims. They need to know how to understand the Quran in a better way, how to understand the Sunnah, and furthermore, how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the correct way. So the Arabic is the gateway to all the Islamic knowledge, as we always say. But also, on the other hand, regarding non-Muslims, it's a must that also it's an indirect way of da'wah to call for Islam. For example, when you teach Arabic in foreign universities or in universities in foreign words. So this is a very, very wide open door for foreigners to get into the Arabic culture and the Islamic culture in an indirect way. Yeah.
Brother Hatem, I wish we had more time, because we actually have to take a break now, because our time is limited. But I really like what you said, Brother Hatem, indirect da'wah. That's how you open the door. And the doors for the Arabic language are open for teaching Arabic, whereas perhaps the doors of da'wah are closed in some countries. Thank you, Brother Hatem Abu Hafsa. I certainly appreciate your time. And Brother Akram, we're done for this segment, but what do you think about that comment, just really briefly? Indirect da'wah. Perhaps the da'wah is closed in some countries.
Actually,
but Arabic language, you can talk about Arabic.
Brother Hatem, as we know about him, actually, and many viewers know about him, he dedicated his life since he graduated to spread Islam through teaching Arabic. And I personally have a lot of questions for him. May inshallah we have him in another segment or another day inshallah to ask him more and more about this. I believe we're
up inshallah. We got a special guest coming up in the second segment, and inshallah it will go well, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one with more interesting news, inshallah. You guys at home, stay tuned. We have a special guest coming up next, and actually an expert in Islamic banking and finance. And I look forward to that segment. I think you guys are going to benefit from it, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the Ummah Tonight.
In a game of golf, both the caddy and the golfer have the same goal: to get the ball into the hole. Interest-free banking is similar. With a clear view of the fairway, predefined agreement without shifting targets, things should end up where you want them. Your deposits are safe and your funds are ethically managed with a transparent and equitable approach to sharing risk and reward. No interest burden means more time to relax without the worry of nasty surprises. Rest assured, our interest is mutual. Jaiz Bank, Nigeria's first full-fledged non-interest bank.
I've been asked today to talk about the Quran and the modern world.
The religion that is acceptable to Almighty Creator is Islam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
The more you know about him, the more you realize how you want to be like him.
For every messenger, a prophet that Allah has sent, Allah gave him one dua.
Allah sent prophets after prophet, messenger after messenger to remind everyone, don't deny the Creator.
La ilaha illallah.
Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Thee alone we worship, and Thee alone we seek help.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Never on this planet walked such a person as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Assalamu alaikum, you guys. Welcome back to the Ummah tonight. We have a very special guest, an interesting guest, who is going to share, inshallah, some interesting and beneficial information. As you guys know, this program is brought to you by Jaiz Bank, the first fully fledged Islamic bank in Nigeria. So having said that, this segment is about Islamic banking and finance. So we brought to you an expert, Almir Kolan, the director of AUSIF, as well as a lecturer at Latrobe University. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the program. This program is actually sponsored by an Islamic bank, Jaiz Bank, the first Islamic bank in Nigeria. So it's very fitting to have Islamic banking and finance expert with us. My first question is Islamic finance in principle at odds with conventional finance? Are they competing with each other? Do they coexist?
When you look at the whole world of finance, there are some intersecting points. But the basic principle on which both systems are based is completely different.
Okay, and perhaps we can compare and contrast a bit. What are those foundational points that are different, perhaps?
In conventional finance, money is used as a commodity.
Okay.
A commodity that you buy and sell, and you get a profit from that. In Islamic finance, it is prohibited to sell and use money as a commodity. Rather, to benefit from money, you must first convert it to something that is useful in itself,
right,
and then that something else is sold and bought.
Okay. We've seen recently with the fiscal cliff, with the fiscal Occupy Wall Street, we see time and time again, it appears as if capitalism has failed us, but we don't see an alternative way because we keep getting told capitalism is the way forward. But it seems crisis after crisis, and I was in the United States during the mortgage crisis, is Islamic finance ready to be the alternative to conventional finance, because conventional finance is a massive monster that controls the world economy? Can Islamic finance be that alternative?
The Islamic finance is ready. We are not ready. We are not ready in our mindset and institutions, and this is why you see on the global scale people want alternative. They want different way of managing money and finance. They don't want just to see some banks who repackage the debts in different ways and then sell it and destabilize the economy.
Right.
So we are seeing more and more of these crises and more people challenging what they already have.
Okay.
And this is where Islamic finance comes
in. Okay. I have an article here that says Islamic banking set to surpass $1.8 trillion in global assets in 2013. That's their approximation. $1.8 trillion in the world economy, isn't it peanuts? It's very small. It's
That's
a baby.
Right. Yes, that is maybe 1%, 2%.
Subhanallah. So yeah, so we have a long way to go, to say the least. Who is pioneering? What countries or banks or organizations are pioneering the way in the Islamic finance world?
Well, it's funny enough you say that we are in Egypt. In 60s, the first Islamic bank started from this country. They were not commercially viable, and it was only until 75 when we saw Dubai Islamic Bank and Islamic Development Bank started commercial operations that were also successful, not just in being Sharia compliant, but on the business side. And this is what gave birth to modern Islamic banking.
You said something commercially viable. Critics of Islamic finance, they always say you need a healthy conventional banking system and Islamic banking system because Islamic banking will never be commercially viable. What is your thoughts?
Well, if you see what happened during global financial crisis and why so much interest in Islamic banking is that it showed it's resilient to the shock. And the reason is because they didn't deal with these toxic assets. They didn't have any base with real economic activities. So in fact, when during the crisis the conventional banking was really struggling to keep its head above the water, Islamic banking was affected, but not to that degree, because they, number one, they can't buy and sell debt. That is just something that is a fiction. So how can we say that the economy can be really built on something that is like an interest that just grows out of nothing, thin air? So without being connected to real economy that benefits society, you cannot have banking and finance. And this is what Islamic finance is. It's a real thing.
Tangible.
Tangible.
Because can we say is conventional banking, it's even worse than gambling? What we saw with the mortgage crisis, can we say it's even worse than gambling?
That's definitely right. Because when people go to gamble, they know what they're doing. They are gambling.
Right. They know the odds are against them.
Exactly. Here, they don't understand that the way that they are deceived, and this is geared towards those people, speculators who sometimes package these products and give them certain labels that seem attractive, but underneath what for example during financial crisis, what was the building blocks of the products, derivatives and so on, was mortgages that were sold to people who could hardly afford these mortgages. So so we have seen lots of cases about deception by the banks, and that is something that is definitely Islamically prohibited.
Some people, Muslims would say Sharia compliant is the goal. Of course this is the goal, but this is still business, so we still have to honor the values of business. Being Sharia compliant doesn't necessarily mean being successful in a business venture, isn't that right?
That's correct. We are talking about business, about entrepreneurship, and being successful in business means that you put a product forward in a way that benefits other people. They reward you by giving you more business. So if you are creating this win-win situation, your business will grow. You could be Sharia compliant running the restaurant, but the food you serve, it might be halal, but no one wants to eat. It's not tasty, it's not put together properly. So you want to combine these aspects of having customer service, having the right way of handling things. Customers are very picky, choosy, they want all conveniences. So if you are not providing all of these things, if you are a bank and not on Facebook and not providing iPhone app and doing online banking and all of the conveniences that people get used to, then you're going to be out of the business.
We say Islamic banking, finance, and business is built on tangible things that benefit local communities, whereas in conventional banking really sucks the life out of the community, doesn't it? It's built on speculation and really has no true foundation. Perhaps we even hear companies betting on profits that come in the future.
That's right. This is what became out of banking, because we see incentives given to those so-called smart people who can navigate around law, bet in a way that creates huge incentives for the bank. We separated now financial industry, which is now disconnected from the real economy completely, where it took its own life. So that's why you usually see when you look at this derivative sector and what is going on in the real world, how big it is, how fictional that whole industry is. It is easy to see appeal for the people who want to make quick money, short-term gain. And when you hear bank executives having salaries of $100 million, like the guy who ran Countrywide, the finance provider who packaged these subprime loans into the derivatives and then sold to the bankers and took insurance, they were hoping to create a product that will fail. Because they already had in their pocket insurance. So he was driving with the car and the plate said, fund it. Regardless who it is, how much money they can afford, fund it. So you see that this is something that is dehumanized. It's not anymore where what finance and banking used to be, even 30, 20 years ago. It's completely different picture now.
Imagine the dishonesty with some of the things that you just said about creating a package, waiting for it to fail, and cashing out the insurance. Before the episode, you told me something interesting. You said the Prophet, peace be upon him, linked riba and laziness, and we see why. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Well,
the wisdom behind that?
He sallallahu alaihi wasallam would ask and supplicate to be saved from laziness and being in debt.
Okay,
and this is something that creates a very lazy mentality.
Right.
And Islam wants us to be upper hand,
right.
to be very much working hard, to be constructive,
right.
to add value, to be that upper hand.
Right.
It does not want us to accept
right.
some charity, beg.
Right.
If we can work and do something for ourselves, we must.
Right.
We don't have a choice. This is where dignity and honor of a Muslim is, in being able to stand for himself, support himself, and being able to manage his own affairs. Okay. This is what Islamic finance is about. You being able to take care of yourself. Otherwise, what do you want?
Yeah,
as a Muslim, you want to be out there to save entire humanity, to do much more. So your ambition is huge.
Yes, subhanAllah. You know, unfortunately, I see the conventional banking industry everywhere in the Middle East. And on the reverse side, I have read news stories. International banks like HSBC have made an Islamic banking window. I read an article recently that the UK would like to be the window of Islamic banking into Europe. So this is good news for Islamic banking and finance, isn't it?
Well, it is important that Islamic finance become mainstream finance. I wish we have a day where other banking will be called by some other name.
Yes.
Speculative banking,
yes.
or dodgy banking or something, and finance will go back to what it was.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Is because this mindset affects the rest of the things that you do.
Right.
And the opposite happened in our countries. When they were colonized, this way of financing became prevalent in society.
Yes.
So what happened with the Muslims who wanted to practice their Islam and be successful? They withdrew themselves from the society. So their influence on the future of society was diminishing.
Right.
And they disappeared. So, as you know, English say that it is enough if good people do nothing for evil to prevail.
Yeah.
And if you have good Muslims cannot be entrepreneurs, participate and have opportunity to economically and develop themselves and therefore strengthen the society, you can have a best system. If you have corrupt people working on it, it will fail.
Yes,
and the opposite is true. You can have corrupt system, but if you have people, they will fix it eventually, that system. So we want then, because economy is like a boat, you see, we all suffer. We're all going to suffer if Europe goes down, if this goes down.
Yes.
And we are seeing Dubai almost was saved by Abu Dhabi, $10 billion when Nahil projects were going down.
Right.
So we are seeing some defaults also in Islamic banking and finance because of these shocks.
Yes.
And for Islamic finance, it is critical to grow in a healthy, proper way.
Yeah, excellent point. Are your lectures at the university, are they on Islamic finance, are they received well by the students? How is Islamic finance received in the academic world among academics and doctors?
Currently, I run also online courses through my center, Australian Center for Islamic Finance. But whether I go to, for example, university students, professionals, sometimes certain governments. I was recently in a country where it's 100% Muslim country, and speaking with some of the finance minister and other people about setting up certain capital markets built on Islamic principles. I was shocked. I came to the central bank, all of the sisters wear hijab, but it's 100% riba-based system.
Okay.
So we have a situation where, on one hand, Muslims are just now realizing what Islamic finance is. I mean, just now Egypt passed Sukuk law. Just now, so many countries changing. Yet we see London, Australia, South Korea are trying to compete for the, let's call it, Middle Eastern money.
Yes.
So some of them have different motives, want to make money. Some of them find something ethically interesting about this business. So there is a mix.
Yeah.
But what that brings us is bring us to the level where we can engage in some interesting discussion.
Right.
Because you see Islam like a nice cake. You try one piece, you love it. You want more and more. And this is, I think, opportunity as well to extend, you say, guys, this principle you love about money, how we do. Well, we have all of these principles in other parts of the life.
But do you think Islamophobia will have a negative effect on the on Islamic banking? Has it held it back?
It has some negative effect. I can see the people who speak about it, and There is even book published about 10 common misconceptions about Islamic banking and finance, and this is normal, you know. You will find that people ranging from Muslim who will say it's the whole same thing, or it should be run as a charitable business, to those people who will say this finance these extremists. So this is always, whenever you mention the word Islam, you will inherently have these issue to overcome.
Yeah, of course, yeah, without doubt. But you know, if we compare to today, 2013, okay, to say 5 years ago, Islamic finance and banking, has it grown tremendously in that time, exponentially, or has it gone backwards, forwards? Where
it is growing very rapidly. Maybe 15 to 20% per annum is growing, and it has its own challenges. It is trying to find a way, because these principles, when you institutionalize them, make them as a contemporary product, you learn from your experience certain things, and also you find that you have to change here and there. For instance, a couple of years ago, we had a major controversy around sukuk, where Sheikh Taqi Usmani said that 80% of certain equity-based sukuk, which were usually translated as Islamic bond, but they are investment certificates, are not Sharia compliant. They were fixing returns, they were making them more like synthetic structure.
Okay.
Now, when Sheikh Taqi Usmani said that, Ayofi started talking about being more in line with Sharia, Maqasid, the objective of Sharia, industry stopped, regrouped, and started changing these practices. So that shows us that it's okay to make sometimes mistakes, you know.
Right, exactly.
But you have to have ability to respond and change, move away from things, because we don't want tomorrow to have Islamic finance crisis.
And we want to say there's road bumps along the way. But we could say that people that have a negative agenda against Islam, of course, they want this to fail so they can attach Islam as a failure.
That's right.
But if we could say institutions fail, right? But the concept of Islamic economics is of course it is correct, and we have many hadith, as if you were quoting beautiful hadith. And can we say, subhanAllah, the wisdom of the Prophet, peace be upon him, Islamic finance and banking is asset-based, right? It's tangible, like you said.
Yes.
And this, of course, benefits communities as opposed to speculation in this sort of thing. Having said that, do you see a better future for Islamic finance in the West than you do here in the Middle East?
I think Middle East is our homeland. Our heart is in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Islamic finance has to grow organically. I live most of my life in the West. I visit us in whether it's Bosnia or Middle Eastern countries, but our heart is Middle East. If that is not healthy, then the rest of us have no chance.
Yeah, of course. So it has to grow organically from the Middle East.
Of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah. To have a strong foundation, as we say. But I'm certainly pleased that when we see a conventional bank with the Islamic banking window, like you said, the motivation is different. So now what we have is a conventional bank who just wants a market share of the Islamic finance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, sometimes in certain countries, like Western countries, it's difficult due to some capital requirements, especially when you, for instance, look at Australia. Most of the people who came, they were migrants. To establish a bank required different set of capital requirements.
Okay.
And until now, we don't have a bank. We have financial institutions that do provide certain aspects, but to be bank, deposit taking, to have accounts, and many other features, it requires bank. It requires resources, somebody to come, invest lots of money, which that community does not have.
Right, I see.
Most of the conventional banks don't fund themselves purely from deposits. They call the money market. They have investors.
Yes, of course.
So community being young, being migrants based, they don't have that much capital to sometimes fund themselves. So this is why certain functions are taken by these other institutions. But we want this to become a norm, not just a window or something like that.
Yeah, I understand. Great point. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode. I want to remind the viewers that you are right now filming a program on Huda TV, which will specialize in Islamic finance. If you could just in 30 seconds tell us what topics what's the goal of this program?
Goal of this program is really to talk to our youth, our entrepreneurs, about being active, how to treat money, how to understand Islamic contracts, how to handle the money. So when they go out to do something, they are confident that Islam opened them huge doors how to succeed. And they should be confident and build on that future for themselves and for the whole humanity, that is built on the solid basis. So that really what they're trying to do is give life to something that will truly benefit everyone.
Okay, and brother, can you give the viewers at home a link or URL or website where they can either contact you to learn more about Islamic finance?
My center, Australian Center for Islamic Finance, you can visit www.auscif.com or just Google Australian Center for Islamic Finance. We have some courses and other interesting things for people to learn.
Barakallahu feek. Thank you so much for your time, brother. I certainly appreciate it. You guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Brother Almir Kolan, the director of AUSCIF and a lecturer at La Trobe University. And I hope you learned a little bit more about Islamic banking and finance. I certainly enjoyed this program. I look forward to seeing you guys next time, inshallah. So until then, I leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.